Well, WION correspondent Anas Malik, who has been tracking the developments closely, is joining us live from Kabul. Good to see you, Anas Malik. Malik, apart from the Islamic State claiming responsibility for this attack, what more do we know? What's the status of the victims of this attack? Reports indicate there were more than 300 worshippers at the mosque during the time of this attack.
Absolutely, Eric, you rightly mentioned there were more than 300 worshippers that have been claimed, as the Islamic State has claimed in its claim of the suicide bombings that took place in Kandahar. We had been reporting through local sources that there were multiple suicide bombings, and it has now been confirmed in the Islamic State statement as well, that claim that they made that Anas al-Khurasani and Abu Ali al-Balochi, those were the two suicide bombers that detonated themselves in the crowd, among the worshippers yesterday during the Friday sermon in Kandahar's biggest Shiite mosque, the Fatimiyya Imam Barga, Bibi Fatimiyya Imam Barga. 41 people are confirmed killed, at least 80 are injured, according to the Director of Public Health in Kandahar. He spoke to WION and he confirmed that at least 41 people are killed. Now, local media said that there were at least 3 explosions. Some reports said that there were at least 4 explosions. Even local security sources say that they heard at least 3 explosions. But the Islamic State, in its statement, has claimed 2 suicide bombers. So that explains that at least there were multiple explosions, and the number was at least 2 at that. Now, as we speak, the significance of this attack is pretty much that is to be noted, because Kandahar is that seat of power among the Taliban, and on the part of the Islamic State, there is a clear-cut messaging that has been done that if Kandahar, which is more celebrated with regards to Taliban's stronghold, with regards to for the fact that that Kandahar is where the Taliban leadership is based. When Kandahar cannot be made secure, when Kandahar is not secure itself for any minority, then and then that they can strike at the heart of Taliban, then what happens to the security situation in rest of the country, Eric?
Malik, what message is a group such as ISIS-K trying to pass to the Taliban with their consistent attacks, especially on the Shiite community in Afghanistan?
Well, that means that they are to target the Shia minority, regardless of whosoever is in power. The Taliban, when they took charge, when they entered the city about 2 months ago on the 15th of August, they took great pride in saying that the country is much more secure now that they are in charge. It was their unique selling point, that USP, which has now been damaged in these series of attacks that have been ongoing for the past 40 days or so. The Taliban, the Islamic State has been attacking the Taliban. They started off their attacks from the east of the country, where the Islamic State is said to have strongholds from Kandahar in Jalalabad. Then it went down towards southeast of the country, that was in Kunar. Then the attack took place here in the capital city of Kabul, where I am, not much far from where I am, about 3.5 kilometers outside that mosque where the memorial service was ongoing for Zabiullah Mujahid. And then last week we saw an attack in the north of the country in Kunduz. Yesterday we saw an attack in the south of the country, that is in Kandahar. So if you have a look on the map, with this footprint, the IS is making one thing clear: regardless of wherever they have the foothold or not, they have the capacity to strike in the entire country, be that be in the east, be that be in the south, be that be in the north, or be that be in the capital city of Kabul. And that is a challenge for the Taliban. The Taliban say that they have been claiming that they have been conducting operations against the IS. In fact, just in the past month, the Taliban claim, security sources claim within the Taliban, that at least 50 IS members or people linked to the IS, those who are part of the sleeper cells, were arrested. But clearly, that is not much on the part of Taliban, because the IS still has the wherewithal and the capacity and the capability to go ahead and carry out these attacks. Eric?
Finally, Malik, you have mentioned this. There is a considerable pattern with these attacks. Almost all of them are suicide bombers. They target crowds, and especially during Friday prayers in mosques. We have the UN Security Council condemning the attack and underlining need to bring the perpetrators of the attack to justice. Is this not a far-fetched for the Taliban?
It is far-fetched for the Taliban. The Taliban have been doing two things. They have been trying to underplay the threat of the IS, number one. And number two, the other thing that they have been doing is relying on human intelligence. They do not have a proper infrastructure in place. Yes, they had shadow governments in place previously, but being part of a militia or being a militia, running a militia and running a government or a country are two different things. So as we speak, they do not have the capacity or the systems in place to provide real-time intelligence. So they are more and more dependent on these human intelligence or human intel inputs. That is one of the bigger setbacks for the Taliban. The Taliban have also condemned this incident that took place yesterday. Zabiullah Mujahid, the spokesperson of the Afghan Taliban, called it a barbaric incident, and he vowed that the Taliban will be bringing the preparators of this heinous act to justice. But this is not the first time we've seen this statement coming in from the Taliban. Similar statement came in when the attack took place here in Kabul, outside the memorial service of outside that mosque, when the memorial service of Zabiullah Mujahid's mother were ongoing. Yes, last week when the Kunduz attack took place, same line, same statement, no progress on ground. So it is far-fetched. And one thing that the Taliban would have to do looks like that they would have to upgrade their systems in order to live up to the commitments that they have done to the international community in that Doha deal, that yes, they do have the capacity to eradicate, to eliminate terror-linked groups such as IS. They have the capacity to distance themselves from terror-linked elements such as the Al-Qaeda, and that would be a long walk to walk on. Beyond statements, in order to convince the international community, only actions on ground would be able to help the international community, to convince the international community, yes, that the Taliban are indeed serious in their commitments to eradicate the menace of terror emanating from the Afghan soil. Eric?
Live from Kabul, Afghanistan. Thank you, Anas Malik, for that update.